right, what's up, everyone? We're back. We're up here doing part 2. People versus Mansa Musa Muhammad. So we're ready to go. All right, y'all. So we're just up here to update y'all on information from what went on this week, and I'm gonna let Crystal update y'all on that, and we're gonna just roll from there right into the to this Marsden motion. We're just gonna roll into it.
Yeah, so last week we did like a good hour of the first part. And so we're going to run into the second part right now of this Marsden appeal, part 2.
Yeah.
So if you look at the background right there, as you can see, there's a picture of a big old tall building. And so that's the Robert Presley Detention Center in downtown Riverside, California, located on Orange Avenue. And that's where Musa was housed at from 1999 to 2009, 10 years. And so he was there because he was fighting, again, like we spoke about last week. Um, he had filed a Marsden motion, which is an appeal to get charges dropped and to also fire his attorney that he had, who was Peter Morales. He had a few attorneys in this case, but what was going on, there was a lot of conflict of interest from what we read in the motion, is that there was trading of evidence without his knowledge. There was DAs and attorneys exchanging information and then not giving him time to write up his appeals and to speak, which is not fair when it comes to the law. Is that, when you have an attorney and your client have information, you know, you're supposed to let your client know, hey, I have to share this with the DA. And I don't think that they was doing that. And so that's why he filed this Marsden motion, because he felt like they was being prejudiced and that he wasn't going to get a fair trial. And he felt like he wasn't going to get a fair trial pretty much because the counts that they gave him, they was really outrageous. So there will be a third part, but like Richard said, we're going to get into the second part. But it was just really, I mean, when you look at some of the charges, and I viewed them, they was really outrageous. And just before we get to the report, I wanted to just touch bases a little bit on yesterday. Uh, Me and Richard and Hannah took a visit to the district attorney's office, which is just right across the street from Robert Presley's detention center. And we met with two individuals. I'm not going to say their names because for their privacy, I'm not going to mention their names. So there was a lot of discussions going on about how Musa was charged in this trial, because all of us were kind of like not really up to date on how
Hmm.
he was charged, but we know that he did get in trouble for the things that he did to all the children that was in the home. So when it came to Laura and her two children, and then when it came to Adrian and her son, I did discover that there was no charges for her son nor for her daughter, Adrian's. And I also discovered this, that during that trial, it was a kind of like they were, I'm trying to put it in the right
Hmm.
context, that they were kind of like, well, if he did all those things to his children and his wife for all those years, then he did it to her. And
Exactly.
like I was explaining to one of the individuals that was there is that how can you overlap? You have a family, right?
Hmm.
And you have 13 children, and you have two individuals they're married for 25 years, and you have the wife going through abuse, all types of abuse, and then after the children is born, it starts happening to each of the children. So how do you have another family, which they call Laura his girlfriend in the report? She wasn't his wife. And how do you overlap another family, because just because he was doing that abuse to his family, that he was doing it to her as well? How do you overlap that? And the way it was explained to me, I'm going to be very honest with everyone. He got charged based off of hearsay. And
Yeah.
a lot of those charges that was based off of hearsay, a lot of them were dropped. We discovered a lot of them was dropped. Now, there was a penal code that she gave me. If I'm not mistaken, I might not get it right, but it was penal code 263. And you all can look it up if you like. That's a, 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 a charge of domestic violence. And then there's another penal code. Um, no, I'm not going to get that right. We're remembering these numbers. But there was another penal code for false imprisonment. Now, the way that she explained it to me is that Laura stated that every time she tried to leave, that Musa would charm her. Not necessarily that that's true, like she said, but it depends on the individual that was trying the case. Now, there
Yeah.
was a lot of DAs on this case, about five, six different DAs, and I've met all of them. Um, she said it depended on the DA that tried him in the case, how they felt that they should try it. So there was a lot of questions that I had, and I'm going to get to that in a minute. So, my question to everyone, if you could do this homework for all of us, how are you a married couple? And this is just an example. You're a married couple here in the state of California, and all your wife has to say, or all the wife have to say, or all the husband have to say is either or. She hit me or he hit me. Example, let's just say you got two individuals, they're married, and the wife says he hit me, and then the police come out. How do you arrest somebody and there's no bruises? And so this what I asked yesterday. She claimed that he hit her. Okay, if he hit her, where are the bruises? Do you know what I
Exactly.
was told? That
Hmm.
there was no bruises, and
Yeah.
Richard was present. So we was told there was no bruises. And if you got good common sense, you got to think, why would you falsely accuse somebody of hitting you and that they didn't hit you, and then they're charged for it? So at this point, like I said to the two individuals that I was speaking to, it's not me and our siblings' battle to fight for him. It's his own battle to fight. And he has rights. He has the right to sue her. He has the right to sue Riverside County, because what they charged him for in the beginning, they found out it was hearsay, and those charges was dropped. And then the crazy part was is that when I got off into speaking about a lot of things that she was speaking on in the media, is that the individual said, well, I mean, going into the case, they already knew she wasn't a credible witness.
Now let me stop right there. That's what got me when I was sitting there listening and stuff. And when they said that, I'm like, y'all knew this the whole time.
They said,
It's
well, you guys live with her, you guys know her, and we can't take anything away from, okay, you all lived in the house and you saw what she did. And this lady said she just didn't get caught. And just because she wasn't charged or she didn't get caught, that doesn't take away from all of our stories living in the house, that all of the things that we've spoken about that she done, that doesn't take away from none of us that she didn't do these things. Because like I'm gonna repeat again, we lived in that home. The media didn't. A lot of people in the public didn't. The DA didn't. And none of the people in Riverside County lived there. And I made that clear to these two individuals because I was really frustrated because I feel like, no, I just don't feel like, I know it. Me and every last one of my siblings, we was treated unfairly. And we was treated unfairly because she was given leverage. That's why she's doing all this stuff in the media, is because of them. And I was really honest with them, not blaming the new people that's there, but I'm talking about the old people that was there when this stuff happened. They're no longer there anymore. A lot of them have moved on, some of them have retired, but they gave her leverage to do that. They gave her um, documents on us that they shouldn't have gave her. They gave her documents on minors. Now, mind you, me and none of my siblings, we don't have any documents on none of Laura's kids. You know why? Because they don't exist. They don't exist. I was told that when it came to Taz, her daughter, that there was no bruises found on her body. Was told the same thing about her other daughter, Miriam. None of that. And about her son, that there was one bruise on his head. And when you look at the picture, like I've stated several times, and I'm going to state it again, is that that bruise that he got on his head, that bruise came from Laura. That did not come from our father. And it doesn't take away that he was wrong for what he did to all of his children and how he treated us and how he treated our mother. He's still wrong. And like I said, he's incarcerated and he's doing his time. He's being punished for what he did. But we're talking about Laura because there was things that she did, and then now this stuff is gotten really messy. It's just all over the place. All over the place.
Hmm.
And like I said, I made it really clear to them yesterday that I feel like it's you guys' fault.
Yeah. Um, like I said, she wasn't a credible witness, and they knew this, but they still gave her information because when you asked for those files and the transcripts and stuff years ago, they denied you. But years before that, when Laura asked, they didn't deny her. Now we don't know how, like, if they gave her like some of them what they gave her, but we do know she got a copy of that letter because they're claiming they claiming because no, she was a victim in the case, but that was hearsay. It's how she got in on that, and they dropped a lot of those charges that she was claiming that what Musa did to her and everything. They
Mhm.
dropped a lot of that. So and plus, like I said, y'all lived in the home, and like I said, I met her. So when they came, when y'all came to Virginia, so I met her. So it's like she wasn't locked up in a garage. So
Yep. But like I said, like you mentioned, first you got a person that's not a credible witness. Then you got a person that was given leadway to go create all of these false narratives in the media when you can just tell the story for what it is. You can actually show evidence and proof. I've given her the benefit of the doubt when we was on the Dr. Phil show, and I've discussed this with those two individuals yesterday, is that I asked her, I have never seen a bruise. And that's why I asked that lady several times. I said, are there bruises documented that she had bruises on her body? She said no. And the way she explained it to me again, she said that you can be in a home with your husband and you can just pick up the phone and say, hey, that he hit me, and that police can come out and arrest you based off of hearsay and then lock you up and you go to jail. And then once you go to trial, if the judge decide, well, I'm not gonna charge him because there's no bruises, then you can go sue that person civilly. That's the way she explained it to us. So, I'm like, we getting some traction. We're doing really well. We're getting some traction. Um I'm into now climbing the ladder. Like, I'm not just gonna stop in one spot like we talked about yesterday. And that's what I did. Just keep going up and up and up and up until you get what you are supposed to have. Who is that? Somebody made a comment.
That's Hannah. This is debunking everything Lord Cowan has been saying and why
Hmm.
all the stonewalling for the files that the victims have been requesting all these years.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's a serious, that's major, because he was present there and he asked a real question that I was really shocked at. He said, okay, so um he mentioned corporal, um oh, I forget what it was. He mentioned something about how do you charge somebody and they don't have a scar, and she said you can do it, and he said no, you can't. You can't do that. And so when I left there and walked over to the actual courthouse to go over there and take care of some business, I walked over there and spoke to 8 officers that was standing out there. And I asked them the question, have you ever arrested a man where a wife went and said that he hit me and you went and arrested him? They said, first of all, when we get to the scene, we got to see a bruise. We got to see a bruise when you get to the scene. And he said, if we don't see a bruise, I mean, we just tell couples, oh, separate. You go here and you go there. But then sometimes it's mutual. He said, you'll have one couple, one person that hit somebody, and then the other one that hit somebody back. 273. And so it was a 273.5. He just told me. Corporal injury to a spouse. So he was wondering when he was asking them yesterday. He said, "What about 273.5? Injury to a spouse?" They said no. He didn't get any of that. So you got to look at, it's bad enough that he did do some things that was bad and it wasn't good what he was doing, but it's even worse when you add flames, to the fire, and you start talking about, oh, and he did this to me and he did that. When you start overlapping things, and this is what I was explaining to both of them. Okay, everything that happened to me and my siblings, she's saying me too. And a lot of those things that happened to us, she wasn't present
Yeah.
when it happened.
And
So
those
how do you
things were.
overlaps all of
Mm-hmm.
that stuff together? And
Yeah.
so, like she kept stating, well, and she wasn't a credible witness in the
And the
first.
thing, like you said, with the how do you overlap with no evidence? First of all, you're
Exactly.
overlapping and you're saying, "Oh, this must happen to her." You're trying to merge everything together and trying to put her in there when you don't have any evidence whatsoever. No scarring. She didn't. They didn't do a rape kit. They didn't. She didn't have anything. But she's in the media saying she was raped, and they didn't do a rape kit, and she never said this until after the trial.
Like I said, all of it is just really bizarre. I was really frustrated yesterday sitting there, to the point I was almost about to pop out of my seat, because just being in that environment and being in the court system a lot because of things that has happened to all of us. Even when I mentioned to them, well, she went as far back in his past to use his son that lives back east and stated some things that was a lie that did not happen. What about that?
Yeah.
And again, we was just met with, she's not a credible witness.
But you gave her some files or gave her some stuff, basically.
Like I said, I'm just really shocked at a lot of stuff I found out yesterday. Then we get into the list. So I took a list there because there's been a lot of stuff in the media that was lies. And so I asked point blank, was Laura kidnapped? Answer they gave us, no.
Yep.
Was Laura raped? Answer they gave us. And Richard asked, was a rape kit done? They said no.
Yep.
Was Laura brutally beat up? They said no. Was Laura stabbed in the foot repeatedly? They said no. Because I brought up to them that she made a comment in the media that she was stabbed in the foot repeatedly. So if you stabbed in the foot repeatedly, I mean, she should have lost her foot if she was stabbed in the foot repeatedly. And she should be wearing a prosthesis. And if not that, half of her foot would be gone, or either she'd be limping around. So they answered that question no, none of that happened. Was he charged with any type of gun charges or pointing a gun at her? They said no. So how could you prove that he didn't do none of that stuff, but you give him a charge of, what do they call it? I'm trying to think of the charge.
What did she say?
I'm trying to think of the charge.
Oh, I wrote it down. I can't remember what she said. She was saying a lot yesterday.
It was a lot, but just reading off that list, asking them questions: was she starved? Was she
Yeah,
malnutrition?
that was one of them. I do
Was she
remember that. Yeah.
starved?
Mm-hmm.
They said no. Was she malnutrition? They said no. Okay, was she deprived of food? They said no. Was she locked in a garage? They said no. I said, well, what is the false imprisonment? They said it's a false imprisonment is because she stated that when she would try to leave, he would trick her and charm her. That's what he would do. And so then, you know, it was another thing I asked. Oh, did he build the hanging mechanism? And that was funny to them. They was like, no. Did he hang her upside down? Did he have her in the basement hanging upside down? They said no. Did he have her stand in the corner? They said no. It was a list of things that I asked them, and they was like, no, none of those things happened.
Like I said,
It's,
they just threw that part in there. That misdemeanor because she claimed that he hit her, and they tried to lump everything in together, but there's nothing could be found or anything that Hold on, put this up. We have a comment. Check this out. Amber Woods.
has Laura apologized?
Nope. She has not apologized. And it's funny that you say that because here's the thing. Didn't she say in the media somewhere she's trying to learn to forgive her forgive forgive Musa, whatever?
She
Didn't
said
she say that?
she said that um she's trying to learn how to forgive her abuser.
Yeah, that's what she said.
But how you gonna learn how to forgive an abuser when none of that stuff happened to you?
There you go.
None of that stuff happened to you. And then, like, one of the ladies in the office was saying that there was no way, like, she said, this is a room over here, and there was no way of you guys telling if she was raped or not. I was like, yeah, it is, especially when you're doing it in front of other kids and you're going in their room and you're doing stuff like that. And then on top of it, how was you able to record all the beatings of all the children in the house? I mean, like you said before in another video, she's present when everything is going on. How are
Exactly.
you present with everything that's going on? And
And how
so,
she know that y'all stealing food? She's right there.
and it took some time. You know, the thing is that it took some time sitting there because now I'm thinking in my head, you was planning all of this stuff. You was just planning it because you could have been like we've talked about before. She could have been reported him, turned him in. Why was she writing letters like you stated earlier before we got online? Why was she writing letters about him abusing children but not writing letters about what he was doing to her.
Exactly. Or her kids, because that letter, from what we understand, is all about y'all.
Yeah,
It's not about her children or her. But I do believe she said something a little slick in that letter for them to treat y'all the way they did.
yeah. It was an article, and I think we had talked. I'm not gonna get into um, into the total article because that's gonna be for another show. But it was an article, and I'm just gonna share this little piece. She said that in the home that he had all of us watching her. She said that everybody was ratting each other out. Nobody was ratting nobody out in the house but Laura. Laura ratted us out, every last one of us. And she tells on herself, if you look at a lot of these clips and a lot of these interviews that she has out there, because you know why? She knew everything about us. She knew everything about us. She knew to get a picture, how she got in our parents' room in their private domain. She had a picture of all of us, she said, and she wrote on the back of it, help, and threw it over the wall. No, no, no. Why are you writing? Why are you writing on the back of a picture, help us? Get some help for yourself.
Yeah, yeah.
Why are you doing that?
But the crazy thing, the lady did not live in the home like that. She lived on her own a couple of times. Y'all said she did not live in the home.
Somebody mentioned that in a comment that about a week ago that I think it was, yeah, about last week on our last podcast show. They said, didn't she leave for 2 weeks and then came back? So how are you being held hostage? She even had her own place, which
Yes.
we're gonna take a visit to that complex because I'll be meeting soon with the landlord and with the lease as well. So, and you'll see how long she lived in there. She lived there for a whole year, was on her own. And then not just that, but I even made it clear to, these two individuals over at the DA's office that our father was covering up abuse that she
Yep.
was doing. Like when her son overdosed on some iron pills that she gave him, and Sister S and Sister M was Sister S and Brother M was present when this happened. Um, like they said, they watched her do it, both of them, and they went banging on the door, screaming for dad that hey, she came out here and gave her son pills, and he passed out. Both
Yeah.
of them took him. They didn't even call the paramedics. They
If you
just
go
took
back,
him.
if you go back in our everybody, sorry to cut you off, but if you go back
Mhm.
and look at our videos, everyone, and go way back down, look at Sister S. Oh, I said her name, Sharon. You see her videos in there that she wanted to do and she wanted to talk about. If you go in there and you listen to him, she mentioned this. She mentioned a lot of stuff. Even in with our oldest sister, you look at her videos as well. They mentioned a lot of this stuff. They
Yeah.
mentioned cell phones. They mentioned so many things. She had this stuff, but she wrote a letter, and plus she didn't live in a home a couple of times. She lived on her own, and she just kept coming back.
And it's
So
and the thing is too is that she walks around. I'm just gonna say from my personal belief, because this has been thrown out there a lot, that none of us never know she might still be dealing with him.
yeah, that's what
No,
we be throwing that out there. We don't know.
we don't know, but you know, this is just a personal belief that she might still be talking and dealing with him, because we've been getting a lot of comments lately from people that follow this channel that's saying, how do you know that that's not a possibility? Because the way she talks about him, she talks about how charming he was, how helpful he was, and that she's going to be forever grateful to him. And I'm like, who talks about somebody like that you said did all these things to you? And then on top of that, she wasn't at the hearing. And I know we said this before, but she didn't
Hmm.
even, and I brought this up to the two individuals. So I said she wasn't at the hearing. She didn't even write a letter. You
Now, if
know,
this man supposed to have raped you, beat you, locked you up, did all this stuff to you, regardless if he got, all these life sentences, whatever, you would be at the hearing. You would be there. Never showed up, never got a call, nothing.
and like the first thing that you do, and everybody know that, emergency pop up, of course, you're gonna call 911. That's the right thing to do, to go get some help. And I'm just like, right off the top, it just didn't make no sense, at all. But dissecting that list, sitting with them yesterday, one of the ladies that we've been knowing for some years that help support all the kids in our family, she sat there and was just shaking her head and was just staring. She was staring. And they was viewing certain things that we were showing them, things that she had done and stuff that she had said. And then I want to make this clear too. We did ask them about Marcy's law. So Marcy's law is a law that was passed in 2008, and Musa didn't go to trial to 2009. So every last one of us is protected up under that law. So when you're sitting around and you're watching television, first of all, no one can get a hold of any of our records due to us being victims of violent crime. And that was made clear to us because there was minors in that case. And so no one can get a hold of that information. And so for these Cleveland-based so-called reporters and news networks and TV journalists saying that they have court reports, you can't get those. And if they were linked and you got them, you know, in a way that you weren't supposed to get them, that's a felony. You go to prison for that. Prison. And I was told this by Hemet Police Department. I was told this by the DA, and I was told this as well by the Sheriff's Department, that you can go to jail for that. So those things that they keep saying that, oh, that you can, and you can't find it online. I can't go online and Google any of my siblings' medical records and my own during that time when this happened. And all of a sudden the records pop up. All of that stuff that she's been saying, it's a lie. It's not true at all.
But they gave her leeway, like you said. They gave her leeway by letting her speak to the media and told y'all don't say anything, and then she just ran with it. They just took advantage. That's basically what they did, plain and simple.
Yeah. Yeah.
They took advantage of the situations y'all was in, and coming out of the
Look,
home, and they just
I'm
did it.
just I'm going to say this because I said last week. She needs to worry about the hereafter. That's what she needs to worry about. Because all of us going there that one day, we don't know when, we don't know how, but she needs to worry about the hereafter. That's what she need to worry about. And stop using God all the time in every sentence and every time you speak, because from my personal opinion, and you know, compared to what she's doing now, God doesn't have anything to do with it. And you can't use God so that way people will believe you. That's the worst thing that you can do, is do that. I
And
swear to
people,
God, or
yeah,
God bless God,
and
and all
God
that.
this and God that. You
Yeah,
gotta be
God
careful
this,
saying
and
that.
God got me out of here, and God this. Don't even pull that one right there. That's just that right there. That's horrible.
And like I said, I urge people like I always do, research her. Look at all her videos. I'm not against that. You know what I'm saying? Look at all her videos. Come back. Look at all our videos and ask her stuff. Comment.
Yeah, because yeah, you're right. Because once you look at her stuff and what she's saying, then you come back here, then you can do a comparison
Yeah.
on what you think.
We have nothing to hide, but she has everything to hide.
I just like my sister said on Dr. Phil's show. And again, she needs to apologize to every last one of us. Not that apology is going to help us, at all. But she needs to make amends with apologizing to Musa's entire family for what she did. That's what she need to do, because we're the people that she's hurt. We're the people that lived up under that roof. And every day we had to go through hell from her and the other adults that lived there as well. And if you're an adult and this stuff happened and you was present, it falls on you. It's your fault too. You had cell phones. You had access to leave the house. You had keys to leave the house. You had vehicles to leave the house. And I'm just saying, just to sit up there and say, oh, I didn't have any access to this, I didn't have any access to that, that's just a complete lie. A complete lie, you know. And so, like I
And
was
they
telling
said
her,
that on that TV show, No One Can Hear You Scream episode, Sojourner to Hell. They sat
hmm
up there and said that they had no access to this or that. That wasn't true. That wasn't true at all.
like I said, it's just the media, and the media put anything out there, and they don't care about being sued either. They'll just say, because the thing is, it's like when they lie, it's an attention grabber for everybody. And all of us, we've been there. But like you said, we've learned a lot, because me and you, we've been down there. We've done the research. We've made calls. We went to visit, places. We've asked questions. We've written letters. We've made calls, you know. And, this stuff right here dealing with the law, it can be, you got to have a good mind for it, because it can be exhausting if you
Very
let it
exhausting and
exhaust you.
frustrating.
Yeah, you know. So if anybody need any advice that's dealing with the things that we're dealing with, feel free um, to send us a message
Hmm.
concerning anything that you're going through, and we can give you a lot of pointers on how to
Yeah,
deal with certain things, because that's what we had to do. We had to
yeah.
ask questions, make calls, speak to people, and there's a lot of people that's helping us out.
And it's a learning experience. I mean, I've learned a lot
hmm
just this past year. I
Yeah.
mean, your
And you
rights
learn,
and
like you
everything.
said, yeah. And you learn too that you could be watching the news, and what you see on the news, it just it bothers me, because you can be watching the news and somebody can put somebody's child on the news, and that's not even their child. They
Yep,
can flash any picture up there, that's not their picture. They can tell any lie that they want, and it's not even the truth.
it was done to us.
And you're
So
supposed to be godly people, these so-called Cleveland based people that's using God and all of that, playing games with God, but you'll sit up there in the media and you'll tell a lie or use somebody. That's what you'll do. Because there was something that happened, I say about a week ago, I think maybe 2 weeks ago, and I was like shocked. um my daughter was showing me a video on TikTok, and then you jumped in the conversation, because I thought it was a movie, and I was looking at her like, wow,
hmm
I can't wait to see. She said, no, no, mommy, it's not a movie. This lady went, I forget her name because I had never seen it. And she said this lady went, and I'm saying kidnap stories are for real, for
yes,
real. And so when she brought up that she was kidnapped, I'm like, wow, there's kids that have been kidnapped and you can't even find them. You don't even know if they're alive or not. And some of these kids, they pop up like 10, 11 years later. But getting back to the story that my daughter was telling me, that me and Richard, my daughter, was talking about, is that this lady kidnapped a 6-year-old girl and told the girl that she was her mother and all that, brought her into her home and everything. But she was walking her dog one day, and her friend had stopped in front of her house, and the police pulled up. And
yep,
her friend said, oh, and they're coming to get you. And she said, huh? She said, they're coming to get you. And guess what? I thought that her other friend was joking. The police was actually coming to get her. They asked her, "Are you Ann such and such?" And she said, "Yeah." Why? And they said, "Oh, uh, you're in trouble." She said, "For what?" They said, "For kidnap." Her other friend was like, "What?" They said, "You kidnapped
Mm-hmm.
such and such years ago." Now, mind you, this lady is 43 years old now and was kidnapped at 6 years old, and she's thinking that this lady the whole time
What's up?
is her
Yeah.
mother. And the police is arrest. The feds was there too, as well, and they put the handcuffs on her. And she was worried about her dog. She was like, "Don't hurt my dog," and such this. I was like, wow. When you guys was telling me about it, I thought it
Yeah.
was a movie.
Yeah, you did. I was like, nah, nah, it's for
I
real. It's
know.
happening.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought it was a movie. You was like, "No, it's not a movie. It's for real."
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So the other question that I asked these two individuals at DA's office was there billboards of her up, and Hannah asked, "Did the FBI get involved?" They said no, no, no. That none of that happened. It was no kidnapping, none of that.
Before you podcasters out there, make sure y'all do your research before y'all have people on your show, because you can end up hurting someone's family with a whole bunch of lies and stuff. Because this definitely has hurt our family.
Yeah, and you're not just hurting us, you're hurting people's spouses, you
Yeah.
hurting their children,
Yeah.
all types of stuff. You hurting. Not just that, but think about people's extended family, as
Yeah.
well. I mean, the situation, it's already bad. It's bad already. But I'm just like to add, more fire to it. It makes things worse because then you got to go and you got to correct the situation. Like, no, that's not true. That didn't happen.
Mm, mm, mm. But
So,
that meeting was crazy though. I ain't gonna lie. Every
yeah, it
time
was.
I don't want to say everything, but every time y'all try to say this, they would come back with this, and I get they're trying to protect their department. I get it, but it's just the way that they were going about it. It was like, come on now, you know what I mean? It was crazy.
I got the feeling sitting up there with them. Rivers, let me tell you something. Riverside County, they're a very racist. That part of California is racist. And sitting there as we were talking and there was some excuses made, I didn't like it because there was children involved, and they never spoke of the children. They kept talking about this one adult, and that's why I asked, did she get immunity? And they said they don't know. But of course, like I told you, Dr. Phil's producer told us she got immunity. So it's a
Yeah,
lot that they're hiding. And like I said, giving it all to God that eventually, well, soon, because we're putting in the work, all of that stuff is going to come out, you know.
yeah.
Just
We're gonna
give it
give it
time, but
some time.
it's going to come to full, you know, um, fruition.
Yeah,
It is.
yeah. So last year was the all the research we was doing and investigating and pulling stuff up and letting y'all know about stuff. Now it's getting heated up, and we got some stuff in the back, and we just taking our time to present it. And I know I keep saying it, but as we keep coming with y'all with more information. It's gonna get real. I mean, we're really gonna,
Hmm.
yeah, watch. Because we made a little headway yesterday, even though with the little bucking we was getting, but we made a little headway. And I don't want to say what it is, but we'll present it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it'll be real soon. It's going to be good. It's going to be really good. So, where we going to start at now with the
Um, you know,
Marsden appeal?
yeah, we can get into it because I know I wanted to talk to you about, last week when we got off, right?
Uh huh.
And we kind of got off kind of quick because I know you had little technical issues, whatever.
Yeah, with the
But
rain.
yeah, then when you got off, I was reading some. I think you called me, and we was
Hmm.
going through the report as well. And we went through it last Saturday, we was going through it, and I was telling you, I like a lot of this stuff is incorrect, and
It
and
is. It
and
is.
and we just wanted to get some of it clear because it states that mom and dad and mom, they left here, Virginia. They went to California with what they said 12 children, right? But
Right.
it was only 10 at the time because see, I was left here,
Right.
and our other the other brothers, the twin brothers, they weren't born until later.
Yep.
So that whole part about who how many kids, and they're constantly in the media saying Musa had 19 kids, this many kids, this
He
and
doesn't
all
have
these,
19
yeah,
kids.
all these wives and all this crazy stuff just for people to to want to read the article or whatever. But and in this report, and there's supposed to be a legal report, it's like it's inaccurate.
He has a total of 15 kids, 13 kids he had with our mother, and one
Hmm.
child per each of those two other girlfriends that he had on the side.
Yeah.
So there's not 19 kids. Laura had two kids because she was married, and so she had a husband, and Adrian already had two kids.
Yep.
So he didn't. We're correct in that he did not have 19 kids at all. Our mother had 10 children, like Richard said, when she came, left Virginia and came to California. There was not um, 12 children. There was
Yeah.
not 12 children. And when we came to California, our older brother was in the custody of our grandparents. And our mother had two more children when we lived in Bakersfield, California. And that was our younger siblings, uh,
Yeah.
twins. Um, Another correction, and this is in the Marsden appeal.
Yeah. Sure
So
is.
they even crossed over some stuff in that. I mean, a lot of stuff that's in it concerning his appeal, that's true,
Yeah.
but how they overlap stuff, like we was
Yeah,
talking
yeah.
about
It's
earlier,
like the overlapping and the consistently, like it's like they was constantly trying to add stuff that wasn't true. And I was reading it and we was talking like, what is all of this?
it's
And it was
like I told you before, it's like we're non-existent and that we can't tell our story. Nobody can tell your story better than you can. Okay, we the
yep,
evidence and the facts. We're the ones. We know how many kids our mother had, and we know our parents. We know who all of our siblings and stuff are. And so, like I said, whatever Laura says out of her mouth, all of us we know better. You know, all of us know, and nobody can tell our story better than what we can. We can tell it.
yep,
And you know, also the other correction that we wanted to make is that we did move to Bakersfield in 1985, but we moved to the Riverside area in 1990. So they're saying in that Marsden report that we lived there for 3 years, which we didn't. It was longer, actually. A good solid 4 years
yeah,
we lived there. And so we moved to the Riverside area in 1990. So that was a total of, I'd say, 4.5 years. It wasn't 3 years. And also in the report, it states that Laura testified that when she met us, we all had moved in her condominium. And that's verbatim. That's her testimony. That's not none of our testimonies. And we're not just saying this. She said that when she met us, we moved in her condominium. Now, yes, when we met her, she had two businesses, fish place and bookstore. She did not move in a motel with us or into any home. Her testimony was that we moved in a condominium with her, which is not quite true because we lived in a hotel because we had to move out of our apartment due to some gas leaks that we
mhm,
had. And so that's why we had moved into a hotel, and that's where we all met her. And so after a while, our father is the one who ended up moving out of the hotel that we lived in, and he moved in with her after her husband went to federal prison on gun charges. So these are her words, not our words. She had a condominium. So, Lifetime, you need to do some correcting, or you need to go speak to her about that condominium, because I know where it's located at. I have the address, and we have pictures of the place. And she had her own place. She wasn't this poor, vulnerable woman that didn't have anything. And like I said, that's her testimony. That's what she said.
She she was living off the family. She was living off of us.
Yeah. She's living off of our mom's benefits. That's what she was doing. Okay. Also, she told a ton of media outlets that she was kidnapped. She was not kidnapped because it was confirmed yesterday, and it had been confirmed actually,
Yep.
you know,
Hmm.
but it was confirmed yesterday that no, she wasn't kidnapped by Musa or held hostage in a hotel.
And our mom didn't help kidnap her either, because that's out there too.
And that's, yep. And so I asked them that, and they said, no, your mother did not help kidnap her. That's another lie. Nor was our mother, uh, what she was alluding to, that she was a midwife. So that's a lie. And I also asked them this about the transcripts, which we went over this, but this is to Tracy Potts, because, you know, she has a whole bunch of jobs and she's a busy diva. So she's
Yeah,
out
that's
there
because she's
doing her
busy.
thing, jumping into other families' business and all that stuff, and want to be Miss Know It All.
We got this out
This
here
is
in
to Tracy
Cleveland.
Potts.
Really? That's
We got
crazy.
this here.
Yeah.
Do not have any court records. It has been confirmed by the district attorney that you are lying. You do not have any court records. What you are doing is you're reading articles that you got from offline from court reporters that were in the courtroom doing um, journalistic research. That's what you were reading, because you can't read transcripts like that. Because I've seen them. I saw them yesterday. That's not, you can't read transcripts like that, the way she was reading. So that was confirmed by the district attorney that she's lying. My siblings and I, privacy is sealed and protected by Marcy's Law, which is a constitutional amendment that protect any victim, not just us, but any victim. It protects a victim of violent crime. This law prevents even the media from requesting information through the courts on victims, and especially on children that are minors. Also, Laura lied in a People magazine article stating that Musa was convicted on 25 all 25 counts. In the 25 counts, they stuck. That's not true at all.
Yeah, we
And if
found.
you
Yeah.
go back
Hmm.
to an interview that she did November 7th, I believe, with Tamron Hall, is there was 7 counts, and she stated it out of her mouth herself. So you guys can go back and review that. So that's a lie. According to the Marsden report, a lot of the charges and things she said Musa did to her was dropped, according to this motion. This Marsden motion also states that there was a lot of conflict of interest, meaning some of Musa's attorneys were shattering and exchanging information with the district attorney without his knowledge.
Yep. That's how she got that
It
picture.
states that
That's
as
how,
well.
and that's part how she got that picture of
Yep,
Moose's evidence concerning her son, that she hit him in the head with a shovel. So that's part of it right there.
right. Yep, that's part of it. At some point, let me go back. I hope I'm not going too far. You following along, Rig?
Yeah, I'm following. Yeah, you're right. You're
Okay.
right.
I
That's
hope I'm
right
not
on
going to.
point. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
at
yeah.
some point in our upbringing, our father did instruct our mother to abuse us, but our mother did not have to do it like she claimed she had to. So in that Marsden report, I was reading, and highlighting some stuff where mom had testified and said that she was made to do things to us, like not feeding us, not letting us get baths, not schooling us, and not and beating us. I mean,
And also stated in that report that mom was starved, and that's not true.
and that's not true. Hmm.
So
It
like, yeah.
stated that um a Wanga man starved 19 of his children and 3 of his wives. First of all, he
Hmm.
didn't have 19 children, and he wasn't starving 3 of his wives. That's a lie. So, getting back to mom, where it stated that he instructed her. Yeah, in the beginning he did. I believe he did. You
Hmm.
know, but the thing is you got to look back again as a mother, and me being a mother ourselves. What man can instruct you to go beat your kids and you beat them?
Mm.
So who does that?
So
Okay.
where we at now?
So, well, we still got a little bit of ways. Get okay. So, um, like I said, at some point, yeah, mom was instructed to do certain things, but then also, like I said, I mean, why would you listen to anything he says and follow it? And I'm getting tired of, because I've heard this a lot. Oh, I was scared and I was afraid. You know, that at some point you get tired of that after 25 years. It's like, wow, you was scared, you was afraid, you making a lot of excuses. You was there, so that make you just as much as a part of it, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You put up with it for 25 years, and
Mm-hmm.
people can say she was brainwashed, this was going that, but you let them do it. I mean, there's no way around that.
Okay. um Correction. Also, in this Marston appeal, Musa did not have cabinets, refrigerators chained up at every home. This began up at the home in Awanga. And the reason why I brought this one up, because I picked that out of the report, because it's 14 pages long and it's a lot to dissect. And when you're talking about, um, he put chains on all the cabinets in the home, and then they went into other homes we lived in. We didn't have those type of cabinets where he could chain up. This was a new, like I said, he had all types of tactics, but he had new tactics of things that he was doing. There was a podcast that Lakeisha was on back in, I think it was before January.
Yeah, about, 2024.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was up.
And
Yeah,
she stated in there that he did not put locks on none of her cabinets. That was a lie that
yeah,
she told. He didn't. She was not locked up in no garage. He didn't, because he didn't. He didn't lock her in a garage, and it wasn't no garage. It was a room. So he did not do that. And the only thing that he locked up was food to permit his children from eating. That's what he did. He did not lock up any, and I'm saying it. That's what happened. He did not lock up any of her cabinets or no refrigerator at all.
mm. We said Lord did not have a plug of hair pulled out of her head. This happened to Sister S.
Yes. So this happened to, we know which sister that happened to. And I
Exactly.
also asked the DA, when they was talking about, oh, well, she had some hair. I asked her, did she have hair pulled out of her head? She said no.
It's like every time we asked was asking them these things, did this happen, they're always saying no, 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 because it's nowhere to be found. Her part was just hearsay. There's no evidence.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And then I asked him as well because it's in the Marsden report. Laura said the dad took a VCR and threw the VCR at her. Now I'm gonna tell you, I remember that day when he threw that VCR because mom had told one of our brothers to put this movie, you know, the movie Dumb and Dumber,
Yeah.
into the mom had told one of our brothers to put the
Movie.
movie
Mm-hmm.
Dumb and Dumber on. And what happened, he came home and the movie had got, I guess, when one of our brothers, I forget which one of them it was, but when one of our brothers was ejecting the cassette, it got stuck.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was asking her, how did it happen? They got some big old argument about it. And like having a tape stuck in a VCR, that happens. You know, that's just it
Yeah.
happens. I've had it happen. And so he got mad. He took the VCR. He threw it at our mother, but it didn't hit our mother. It hit the front door. So that's why I asked the DA. I said, "Well, what happened with her saying that he threw this?"
And I want to know when did this happen? Was Laura was she living with y'all at this time?
No, no, she wasn't. This happened when we lived in Riverside in a 4 bedroom, 3 bathroom apartment over on Philbin.
Yeah, and the reason why I asked that because that lets you know that they gave her information on everybody and gave her certain records. Because how would she know all of this? Because this had nothing to do with her. So she took testimony and things and put it on herself, and she put it all out there in the media as if it was her.
Right. Sure did. And the other correction I wanted to make is that uh, Laura did not get kicked in the head with the army boot. There was no bruise present on the head, first of all. Now, this happened to brother C, who got kicked in the head and was bleeding. Another thing about these army boots, I hear a lot about her saying that he wore army boots. It's like an
Mm-hmm.
obsession that she has. She uses army boots when it comes to her. She uses army boots when it comes to you. And she uses
Mm-hmm.
army boots when it comes to other siblings. Then she talks about how he dressed. He was striking when he dressed with his army attire on and his army boots. She talks about army boots a lot like it's some type of obsession or something. And I'm just like, this stuff happened for real in real time, and this is not a game to be sitting up there playing, talking about some army boots. You know, to say that on a podcast that he had another family where he had a son and he got his son taken away from him, and she mentioned the person that she mentioned. Lord, you don't know what I want to say right now, but you know,
But
you keep her
yeah,
name out your mouth because
yeah,
it's
and and
just
mhm,
don't speak of her.
and here's the thing that story that she mentioned being kicked with army boots, which that's our brother. We know which one they got kicked with army boots. That story is out there because they leaked the information out there, and she with these journalists, and she's telling them this, and she's saying me too. That's why I got a video out there, y'all, called Me Too with Laura,
Hmm.
because it's like it's ridiculous. And they know this lady was not a credible witness, and they know this, and they
They
still
said it.
they
They're
said it
the
out their
ones
own
that
mouth.
said it. Yeah, but don't forget she mentioned the army boots with you too on
Yeah,
that
she did.
Murder
She
Unscripted
did. Yeah.
podcast. She said he took his boot and knocked off um his son that
Mm-hmm.
his parents had custody of his
Mm-hmm.
pinky finger.
Yeah.
So we don't even know. And this is what I
Mm,
expressed to do. None of us know. What
I don't
happened?
even know.
Yeah, you don't even know. So tell me, how do you know this? How do you know this? That's
Let me
just
see.
that was weird. So I noticed they had that in there, and then um, what else was it? Oh, moving on next. Laura did not have guns pulled out on her. This happened to all of our siblings. And Musa, oh yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
when you talk about the firearms, I mean this one right here is really serious because he
Because
had
she's
a
always talking about, oh, he had a gun and he was shooting it and he was doing this to me and pointing it at me and threatening me with and taking the bullets out the gun and setting the bullets on the table and intimidating her. I'm like, please. But I like that one. Well, we're gonna get to what you're about to say, but that one story you told me about that gun on New Year's, all the adults was firing that same gun outside. Laura, mom, Adrian, and dad, all of them.
yeah,
So please,
January 1999.
yeah.
So that's the crazy part right there. So maybe forensics, they need to test it for all their fingerprints as well. So
Yeah, but yeah, get back to what I was about to say about the gun with her because that was crazy.
so this was the crazy part where the Marsden report mentioned that Laura said that he was pulling out guns on her. This happened to all of our siblings.
Hmm.
I'm just gonna tell you this, and this is somebody could have been killed. So this happened to all of us, and he had a habit of threatening you with a gun. He would say it, and then he would threaten you by saying it, and then sometimes he would actually pull out the gun. Now, my memory of him pulling out the gun is Laura was not present at all. At all. She was not present. It happened a couple of times out in Mead Valley on that property we lived on with the other Muslim family. And then it also happened when we lived in a 4 bedroom, 3 bathroom apartment where he actually fired the gun. And if the bullet went into the wall past Marcus's ear, and I think Marcus spoke about that
He did.
on
He
this
told me. Yeah,
podcast.
he
Yeah,
mentioned it, and I remember when he ran away and came down to VA. He told me about that.
yeah, he did that. He
Yeah,
did. And so I'm saying he could have really, killed him. He could have did he could have did some serious damage. But that never happened, to her. That never happened to her. And it's like what happened is everything that I'm looking at that all of us testified to is that you look and it's like, oh, you're repeating this stuff. That's what I was telling the DA. I was like, she's overlapping everything that we said. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. That happened to me too. Moving on. I think I mentioned this earlier, but I'm gonna mention it again. Laura and Musa aided each other in covering up abuse she did to her children and us. They both did that. Like I said, I mentioned one scenario, but we'll mention more when we get into the third part of this Marsden appeal. But he did a lot of covering up for her, a lot, and also let the DA know that yesterday. In the Marsden report states that Musa kept empty boxes in cabinets, so it would appear that there was more than enough food for the children. This situation did not happen, but Laura aided Musa in doing this by taking food from her apartment she lived in Desert Springs. Laura would bring food from her home up to our home and place it in our kitchen cabinets. All Musa had to do is call her, and she would bring food right over, then take it back after Child Protective Services left.
and
And this happened all the time.
it's crazy. Marlon said that. He said in one of his videos. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
if that's the same location, but he
Uh-huh.
said Dad would get on his bike. He said
Mm-hmm.
this, and he would go down there to
A
Laura's house.
pillowcase.
Yeah, that's what he said. He would get all the food and come back. Marlon said
Mm-hmm.
this
Mm-hmm.
already. It's like, and plus I heard it from some of y'all. Y'all had told me, previously she was doing stuff like this, that both of them. So it's like now all of a sudden she this victim. She just didn't want to go to jail. I'm sorry. She just covered her tracks. That's all she did.
And they
Eh, eh,
mentioned in that report finances. First of all, there was no finances for Musa to take from Laura. And if you look at the movie, what she put in there is that she was desperate. She didn't have nowhere to go. So he gave her a place to go. And it happened quite that way either. But I'm going by what the movie has in it because there's a lot of lies in there. She didn't have a penny, not a dime. She lived off of our mother's resources she received for her 13 children. That's what she lived off of. Musa did not strike Laura in the ear, causing it to bleed. This happened to Sister S, and she suffered hearing loss.
mm.
Sister T, and she suffered hearing loss from that. It's so much stuff. I'm just like, wow.
And it was like we mentioned a lot of this to the to the DA yesterday, the people that we spoke with or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and it's crazy.
Yeah.
But somebody has
Each,
an answer for this stuff
mm-hmm.
because
Each
they
adult,
helped her out.
yep. Each adult in that home had keys to enter into that home.
Hmm.
Laura, Adrian, and Musa, as he testified to in that Marsden report, and they did.
Yeah, and Keisha mentioned this in in 20.
In her
Mhm.
interview that she did, like you
Yep.
said in 2024, because I was watching it day before yesterday. I watched the full interview day
Yeah.
before yesterday. Also, in that Marsden report, it stated that social worker Todd Balanca, a social worker who visited the home February 17th of 1999, he stated in his testimony in the Marsden report and police report and the social worker's testimony that he did not see any bruises or signs that Laura Cowing children nor Adrian children was in any distress or being deprived of any food. He said they looked and acted very happy. But there's more to that
Yeah.
in the third part when we discuss that. Laura said it was hard for her to date. Now this is this is far from the Mars report because we down to the bottom of wrapping up part two. So uh in one article she stated that it was hard for her to date, and it's crazy. She said it was hard for her to date. So I'm just gonna give my opinion.
Mm.
If I was a man,
Mhm.
I knew about this situation right now in the real time, I wouldn't date her either. You know why? First of all, the lady has an affair with a married man, okay? And she's well aware of it. She has two children, and she has her own place. She didn't have to come live with us. She had her own place.
As
That's the
Thank you.
weird. That's the weird part.
Yeah.
That's the weird part, and all of us aware of it. She had her own place. She had to come live with us. She making this stuff up. But like I said, if I was a man, I wouldn't date her. And I wouldn't date her because it would be very risky. And this is my opinion. It's very risky dating her because, first of all, knowing that you're not a credible witness, this
Mhm.
means that you're not a trustworthy person. You're not
Exactly.
honest. You're
Yep.
not loyal, and you can't be trusted at all. And you're just liable, really, to do anything, say anything about me. And so I feel sorry, to be honest, for you, for any man that would date her. And she did this to herself. This is from lying and, not telling the truth. This is from uh, adding stuff to stuff that didn't happen, making up things, sensationalizing things, making up false statements, fabricating stuff, all types of stuff, you know. But this is just my opinion, is that she had an affair with a married man while she was married. Plus, dating is risky because you have to always worry about her saying you raped her. You got to worry about her saying you beat her. You got to worry about her saying you held her hostage. You got to worry about her saying all these abusive types of things due to her building. It's like I don't want to say a disease. It's like a I'm trying to think of the word. It's like a what do you call it?
You said
It's
not a
like it's just
disease.
like a thing for her that'll
Mm-hmm.
roll off her tongue. The number one
Mm-hmm.
thing, just to get what I want, I'm gonna say that you abuse me
Mm.
because I've lived that stuff and I've seen it for several years. And like I said, this stuff has really not taken a toll on me, but it's just I think it's been shocking to all of us.
Yeah, most definitely.
To
Yeah.
all of us, the stuff that she would say. And I wouldn't even trust myself sitting in a room if somebody paid me $1 million. You can
Nah.
say, "Oh, I pay you 5 million." I couldn't even sit in a room beside her or across from her, knowing the things that she did. I mean, she might say I looked at her wrong and turn that into a crime. She might say I rolled my eyes. She might say I turned my head. She might not like my opinion and say that I did something to her. So I'm saying, for me personally, she's a liability. And it seems like to me that she's filled her life with abusive stories and stories of other people's families, especially ours,
Yes.
especially all of us, especially us. Plus, the bad part about it is that I got stuck on watching this movie and it just took me back to that day like a flashback. The movie Beauty Shop, that salt and pepper song. You got to be careful. Befriending her. Don't allow around your husband. None of that. Because she'll say, I'll take your man. And she will take your
Oh
man.
man,
She will
that's
take your
my
man.
pepper song. That's for yeah.
Yeah. She will take your man and she'll swear out that it's her husband, like she did our mother, knowing that he wasn't her husband and still saying it.
Mm,
And I know we mentioned this before, but she said she's working on forgiving her abuser. And
mm,
she
mm,
said
mm.
it's not hard to forgive him because he didn't do. No, she said she's working hard on forgiving her abuser. And like I said, it's not hard to forgive him because he didn't do anything to her. What she
Exactly.
needs to do is apologize to all of us she has offended for over 20 years. She needs to apologize to our mother, especially for what she did. She needs to admit to the public that she's falsified, that she's sensationalized, that she's fabricated stories, and she needs to make a serious apology. That's just
Got
my
her,
opinion.
and to me, she got her job under false pretenses because she was helped out and and getting a position, and people think that something happened to her, to
Yeah.
feel sorry for her and help her get into a certain position, and then she's a self-proclaimed advocate.
Like I
Yeah,
said,
like I always say, you can be an
throughout,
advocate, you can do whatever you want to do, but don't stop riding off of what happened to us to boost yourself up in the public eye.
like I said, it's been a long week, but learning of this stuff right here. This stuff is really serious. It's serious.
Yeah, it is.
It's serious, and we have a long ways to go, but we up to the challenge. You know.
Like I said, it's multiple stories that we can, tell and from different angles, and it's just more to come. We can go all this year, all
Mm-hmm.
next year, and the year after that because that's how crazy the story is. Laura's been doing this for 20 something years, and we just getting
Mm-hmm.
started. So,
Yep. So we got some years under our belt to go. So
so
tune in.
it's gonna get interesting this
Yep.
year. Trust me.
Mm-hmm.
It's already got interesting. The top of the year, we had a
Yep.
meeting again, you know,
Yeah.
trying to get this stuff straight. And we got some other meetings coming up too. So, yeah.
It's a mess.
Yeah, it is. It is. Got anything else to say before we end this?
Nope. Just for everybody to stay tuned and tune in next Friday because we'll be ready to roll again for
Oh,
part
yeah.
3.
Yeah, we're gonna do a part 3 because like I said, it got real deep and there's a lot of pages to this and we're just going through it and pulling stuff out and so yeah. So everyone, we thank you for supporting this channel. Like, share, and subscribe. So and share it. And once again, everybody have a blessed day and a blessed week, and we'll be back.
Good night.